Nityanandam.
Nityanandam.
Here we are, back with you again. We are going to continue with our story. Do you remember what happened last time? Do you remember? Do you also remember?
Yeah, I want it back. I want to be told to me again.
Shall we hear a few words?
A few recapture of the story.
Here is what happened.
Last episode, I described to you the Mahabharata when Bhishma was faced with the problem of trying to get his stepbrothers, two stepbrothers he had. The elder one, Chitrangada, was killed in a battle, and the younger one, Vichitravirya, as he grew up, Bhishma went in search of brides for his brother and brought 3 daughters of King of Kashi from their Swayamvara. Swayamvara, I told you, it's describing how the bride is given freedom to choose her own husband among a group of kings who are invited by her father.
Oh yes, I remember.
From that Swayamvara, Bhishma just snatched the 3 girls, brought them back in his chariot. On the way, he had to fight many kings who did not like this, what Bhishma had done. But finally, since Bhishma won them, he took the 3 girls to his kingdom. That was the way of life in those days. So, it was not something wrong. It was an accepted form of life in those days. And then the 3 girls, after they came to Hastinapura, the kingdom of Bhishma, before the marriage to his brother was celebrated, the eldest daughter, what did she say? Do you remember?
What did she say?
Elder girl.
She wanted to get married to someone else.
Yes.
Something like that?
She mentioned one king's name by name Shalya, who was also defeated by Bhishma in a battle. But she had already wanted to marry him, and that king had also had a liking for her. So Bhishma respected her wish and sent her with gifts back to her kingdom. The other 2 girls were married to his brother Vichitravirya. They lived very happily for quite a number of years. But then Vichitravirya also developed some problem in his body. He had some convulsions or stroke. And then, since in olden days they didn't have very good medicine or something which could hold him back, he died very early in his life. So just like Chitrangada, Vichitravirya also had a premature death, and the kingdom was deep in sorrow. Why? Do you know why? I told you, all the kingdoms had the always hope that they should have an heir. Heir means next generation child, a boy who could take over the position of a king and rule the kingdom. Since Vichitravirya died without any children, there was no heir to rule the kingdom further. So once again...
Can Moshu rule the kingdom?
Oh, Moshu can rule his kingdom, not Hastinapura. He can rule Moshu's kingdom. Shuka can rule Shuka kingdom, but not the Hastinapura. Because they are now here. Hastinapura, the story happened 5,000 years back. How can they rule there?
And then who ruled the kingdom?
Then once again, Satyavati, the empress, asked Bhishma, please give up your vow and get married to these 2 widows, Ambalika and Ambika, so that you have children and they can rule the kingdom later on. Once again, Satyavati asked him to break the vow. But Bhishma, the name itself said, a person who's taken a terrible vow, he would not relent. He would not give up his vow. He said, I have taken the vow for the sake of my father's happiness, and for the whole life I will maintain it. So she could not change him. Then what did she think? Whom did she think of? I told you one person who was very, 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 very important in the story. The writer of this story.
That was Veda Vyasa.
Veda Vyasa. Veda Vyasa also had a son by name Shuka. We have one Shuka here. He had a son by name Shuka. Now Shuka recognizes Vedavyasa. Then Satyavati invited Vedavyasa to come there. She thought of him immediately. Vedavyasa, I told you, is an enlightened master. He immediately appeared before her. And I told you that Vedavyasa is also Satyavati's son. Do you remember that story? If I recapture that, I will lose track
No, she
here.
remembers
Yeah.
everything.
Even Shuka remembers.
Only forgets name.
Right? Vedavyasa is the son of Parashara and Satyavati. And Vedavyasa appears before his mother and asks her, "What is it you want, mother?" Mother tells him the problem that her son is dead and the daughters-in-law do not have a child. So there is no grandchild to take over the kingdom. So what shall we do? She asks him. Vedavyasa thinks and then finally decides to bless the two girls and one of their companion with children. He blesses them and they have children. Ambika gets Dhritarashtra, a boy. Ambalika gets a son by name Pandu, and the maidservant of Ambika gets a son by name Vidura. All three are born due to the blessings of Vedavyasa. Now, these three boys grow up. But among them, Dhritarashtra is the eldest. I told you, he is born blind. So, according to Manu Shastra is the Shastra which is followed by the whole of Bharatavarsha or India in olden days. The rules and laws and codes are given by Manu. So according to the Shastra, a person who is born blind cannot rule the kingdom.
He cannot be a king.
He cannot be a king. Practical difficulty. If he is a king, he needs to have people advising him. And the advisors have to be wise enough. Otherwise, the king will be misled because he cannot see. So that is practical. So based on that practical application, the rule said that the next brother takes over the kingdom. So when Pandu and Dhritarashtra grew up, it was Pandu who was crowned the king and he started ruling. Now the two boys had grown up. So what is that? In olden days, they were busy finding brides for the boys because they need to have the next generation. That was almost an obsession in Hastinapura because Bhishma was always interested in having the kingdom being ruled properly. So he was always obsessed with the kingdom.
Because
He had given his word to his father that I will look after the kingdom. That's the reason. So he said there are 3 brides available. So let me find them for you. One was King Subala. Subala is another king ruling in another place. His daughter, Gandhari, her name. She is a eligible bride, a person who can be married. And Bhishma had heard that Gandhari had a boon from Lord Shiva.
Which
Do you
boon
know?
Gandhari has? Which boon?
Gandhari had a boon by which Shiva had blessed her, saying, "You will have 100 sons."
Oh, 100 sons.
100 sons.
Who's
Can
going to
you
rule the
imagine?
kingdom? Who's going to rule the kingdom then?
How
they are going
because
to
they're
choose?
scared they won't have children. Now this lady has prayed and got a boon. She'll get 100 sons. So immediately
Wow.
Bhishma was very much interested in getting her married to Dhritarashtra. And he went and asked for the alliance. Her father also agreed. And she married Dhritarashtra even though he was blind. And she did have 100 sons and 1 daughter. So they are Kuru Vamsha, Kuru lineage. That is why they are called Kauravas. Kauravas. The 100 sons, 100 brothers are called Kauravas. Then Pandu is there next. I told you Pandu is ruling the kingdom. So for him, Bhishma thought of a Yadava king by name Sura.
Sura.
He had a daughter by name Prita. That Prita incidentally Her brother is Vasudeva. Do you know who Vasudeva is? Some of you might have read classics of the life of Krishna. Who is Vasudeva
Who
there?
is Vasudeva?
Krishna's father.
Ah.
He is the Vasudeva is the father of Krishna. That is why Krishna is also called Vasudeva. So the Pritha is brother of Vasudeva. When she was a baby itself, her father gave her as an adopted daughter to his own cousin from a kingdom by name Kunti Bhoja. His cousin took over the girl and brought her up. And she is also called Kunti because she was the daughter of Kunti Bhoja. So she had two names, Pritha and Kunti. That Pritha, Bhishma went and asked for her alliance for Pandu. Her father was very pleased with the alliance. And no, before that, let me tell you one more story.
One more story in the story.
In a story. Kunti, when she was young, she did a lot of service to a sage by name Durvasa. Durvasa is a sage who used to go from ashram to ashram. And when he visited the kingdom, it was Kunti who served the sage day by day. The sage was very pleased with her. And he said, I will give you a boon. When you please an enlightened master, he will bless you with anything he has. Everything you may not even think of. That is a blessing they give. Durvasa said, I will bless you, my child. I will give you a mantra. He said, a mantra. Mantra means a sacred chant. A mantra. All of you might have heard your parents telling mantras, right? Or some of you might have heard your parents narrating prayers. Even if it is a Bible prayer is there. They are called mantras. They are words which have power. So, this chant, Durvasa gave a mantra to Pritha or Kunti. You can say both ways.
So, mantra was a boon.
And through that mantra, he said, if you think of any divine being, immediately that divine being's power will be given to you in the form of a baby. That baby will be a divine incarnation. He will give you a baby, and that baby you can bring him up. As a mother, you can bring him up. So, this mantra which you utter to any divine being, immediately their power will come to you in the form of a baby. And that baby you can bring it up as your own son. He gave her that power. See, olden days, what all powers they had. So, Kunti, even before she could get married, she wanted to test the mantra. As a young girl, curious enough, she wanted to test the mantra. And what did she do? She uttered the mantra thinking of sun god.
And
what happened? Immediately sun god came and appeared before her in full glory. You know how when it is bright shining, how is the sun?
You cannot even look at it.
You cannot even look. That much power he has. He came with his full power in front of her. She was terribly scared. She said, oh God, I just wanted to test the mantra. I don't want anything from you, she said. But then what happened? Surya said, see, you wanted to test, but I am bound by the mantra. I am bound by the words of says Durvasa. What did he say? He said, once you utter the mantra, a divine being, thinking of any divine being, that divine being's power and energy will come to you in the form of a baby. Immediately sun god said, I have to grant that. So he granted her a baby boy. And that boy was born with a shield attached to his body. It's called Kavacha in Sanskrit. Kavacha. A shield attached to his body and an earring. He was born with it. Kavacha Kundala. That's what they say in Sanskrit. So this boy was named Vasushena. Vasushena, because he was born with wealth on him. He was born with a shield and a kundala. He was almost somebody who cannot be defeated. Such a character he was.
So that is the meaning of the shield. Someone who cannot be defeated.
No. Because of the shield, he was invincible. Nobody could defeat him very easily.
That is
Right.
shield.
And then what happened? Kunti didn't know what to do. She's not yet got married. She just out of curiosity tried the mantra. And now she has a baby in her hand. She was scared what people will tell her. So, do you know what she did?
What she did?
She put the baby in a tub and floated it into the river.
Oh.
She couldn't keep the baby. So, though she was very much attracted toward the baby, she could not keep it because she was scared as to what her parents, what her relatives, what her friends, what the whole city would say about her. So, with fear, she let the boy float on a basket in the river.
And what happened with the boy?
That basket went to the other shore, and there a elephant rearer, a person who looks after elephants, he, Atirati he is called, he came there. He is also called Radheya. He came there, he saw the basket with the baby, beautiful baby inside it.
Yay!
And since he didn't have children, he was so happy. He felt God has given him a blessing, a boon, and took the baby home and started bringing up that baby. Now, Pritha had lost one child in that manner. But then, after some years, when memory went away from her, she was her Swayamvara. I told you Swayamvara is a place where kings are invited and the girl is asked to choose her husband. So Swayamvara was arranged for her and she chose Pandu as her husband. I told you Pandu is the brother's son of Bhishma. So Pandu was chosen by Pritha and both of them came to Hastinapura. They were married, they lived very happily. And one more king had a sister, Shalya, another king, had a sister by name Madri. Bhishma did not want to take chance with only one bride for his brother because they wanted kingdom to flourish with number of children to look after the kingdom in different ways and to expand the kingdom. So he went for the alliance of Madri, the sister of Shalya, and there he was accepted. And Madri was also married to Pandu. So both the brothers, the elder brother had now got 100 sons and one daughter. Now Pritha, since Pandu also, later on, Pandu one day he went with his wives for hunting. Along the river, he hit a deer, a male deer, which was along with its wife, the doe or the female deer. When they were together, he hit one of the doe with an arrow. And as it was about to die, it revealed its form as a sage who has taken the form of a deer, and he was roaming about with his wife who has also taken the form of a deer. See, in olden days, they had the power to change their form also. And particularly sages have the power. Because mantra was very strong. When you utter something, the power of the word will bring the action into reality. Now, we don't understand the value of mantras. That is why we are not able to make it come into reality. But if you have the sincerity, even now, mantras can bring what you want. That is the power of mantra. So in olden days, the rishis could change their forms. This rishi had happened to change his form to a deer, and his wife also was a female deer. Both of them were walking around. The king's arrow hit the deer, and as he was about to die, he, in anger, he cursed Pandu. He said, "You will also die very soon."
Listen carefully.
Yeah.
So sage cursed with death.
With death to Pandu. So Pandu did not have much time to live. And Pandu was also a little sickly in his body. He was not very strong. So few days later, he also died. His wife, Madri, decided to end her life also along with Pandu. Before the death of Pandu happened, Pandu was almost childless for many years. After marriage, they did not have children at all. Then Prita tells him about the boon she had. The boon is
she had the boon.
she can think of any divine power, and when she utters the mantra, a child is born with the energy of that divine power. That boon she had, you remember? So when she told, that boon was accepted, and she got children through the power of 3 divine powers. And she also gave the mantra to Madri, the other wife of Pandu. She also got 2 children using that power. Now I'll tell you who these children are. They are the heroes of the whole story.
So,
Right? We'll introduce those characters now. Shall we? Shall
Who
we?
wants to know? Shubha
Now
wants
only
to
the main
know.
story is
Moshe
coming.
wants to know. We want to know.
Yeah. Now, Kunti used this power on Yama or Dharmaraja. Dharmaraja is the lord of righteousness. He is also called Yama, the god of death. She used that power on him. And through his grace, the energy transferred in the form of a baby boy. He was named Yudhishthira or Dharmaputra. He had 2 names. Yudhishthira means one who is very firm and steady in a battle. And Dharmaputra means he is a form of righteousness. So that character itself showed in the name, how he developed himself into a Dharmaputra. The second child, she uttered the mantra to Vayu, the wind god. Do you know the wind? The wind is also the presiding deity, or the god who is the god of wind is called Vayu. She prayed with this mantra to Vayu, and through his blessing she got another very strong baby boy. Because wind is powerful, right? So that strong baby boy was called Bhima.
Bhima.
Bhima. He was so strong, when he was a baby, he fell down on a rock, it seems. And when he fell, his body was so strong, the rock broke. Look
did you
at
hear
the strength of that baby.
Ah,
That strength he had. Bhima is the second child of Kunti.
we have one more child.
She prayed to Lord Indra. Indra is the god of all the devas or divine beings. That Lord, with his power, gave her a baby boy by name Arjuna.
You all know Arjuna.
You must be knowing. Some of you may know. He is the person to whom Krishna tells the whole Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, have you heard of the book? It comes in Mahabharata. It is a book within a book. So, Arjuna is the third son. Arjuna was very good archer. He was the best in the whole country during that period. There was no one who could beat Arjuna in archery. So in olden days they didn't have any other weapon. It was bow and arrow that was used as weapons. So Arjuna was a very strong, very good looking and handsome and a powerful warrior. Now Kunti had 3 children. She had given the mantra to her co-sister-in-law by name Madri. That Madri used that power on Ashwini Kumaras. They are a divine doctors. Ashwini Kumaras are the name of the divine doctors. She used them, and they are twins. She used the mantra on both the twins, and through their blessing, she got two sons. One was named Nakula, and the other one was named Sahadeva. Each one of the 5 brothers, since they are the sons of Pandu, they were also called Pandavas. Nakula is supposed to be an expert in rearing horses. Ashwavidya, he knew the science of rearing horses. And Sahadeva is a person of total wisdom. He is almost an enlightened being. That's how he lived. He is a master in astrology. That's how they developed. So the 5 Pandavas are there growing up happily, and then when Pandu got the curse from the sage, he died within a few days, and along with him Madri also did not want to live without her husband, so she also died in that fire.
But they left 5 children.
They left 5 children to be brought up by Kunti alone. Kunti was there to look after the 5 children. She lived her entire life just for bringing up these children. Her life, if you read her life, she is lived only for the sake of those 5 boys.
They are called Pandavas.
Yes.
Now it's becoming more interesting.
Yes. Now, the Kauravas, the eldest son, is named Duryodhana. As soon as he was born, the story, according to Vedavyasa, he is telling, the child brayed like an ass. The sound made by the child appeared like the sound of an ass braying. That was a very bad sign. Because as soon as the ass braying was heard, owls started shouting, wolves started shouting, crows replied. So all these sounds were signs that something bad is going to happen. That was the significance during the birth of Duryodhana. Now, hearing the sound, their uncle, I told you, Dhritarashtra, Pandu had one more brother by name Vidura. Vidura is known for his justice, and he was a very deep thinker. So Vidura said, see this child braying like an ass, and with all the other bad signs which you can hear, I think this child has to be given up by Dhritarashtra, because he will bring, the child's power is such that all bad things may start happening.
Not a nice boon.
Not a nice boon, but that was there. Vidura asked Dhritarashtra to give up the child, but Dhritarashtra would not agree to it. He said, my eldest son, I cannot give him. So he brought him up. And the boys, the 100 boys on Kaurava side, Dhritarashtra also had another wife, and through her he had one son by name Yuyutsu. That son was not as wicked as the other sons of Dhritarashtra. I told you, Duryodhana, as soon as he was born, there was bad signs. He also developed into a boy who had many negative qualities. Dhritarashtra brought up these 100 sons. He had blind affection for the eldest son Duryodhana, and that was one of the reasons why later on there was a lot of problems because of that one son. And due to his influence on all his brothers, they faced a very bad end later on. Let me cover the story slowly so that you understand how life was, how one should not be, what are the qualities one should have, what are the qualities one should not have. All these are beautifully brought out in this story, Mahabharata. And each one of you think and listen and find out what is good for you, and then follow it. You'll find it very interesting as I progress. Yes?
happened to Duryodhana and Pandava?
Yeah, we'll see it slowly. In the next episode, I'll start bringing how they had, what was the relationship between the Kauravas and the Pandavas. They were always at jealousy, was strong in Duryodhana, and that never allowed him to go near the Pandavas. The Pandavas were very positive and good in their habits, but because of Duryodhana's jealousy, they could never mingle with each other very easily. They had a lot of competition. I'll explain to you some of these competitions.
Moshu can say, I'm really looking forward to the next story.
Yes.
I want to know what happened. So see you next time.
See you.
Nityananda.
Nityanandam.